Hi guys, welcome back to Life with the Maze. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for the support, you guys. And yeah, welcome back. So on this channel we share content. I'm only a part of the maze, so we share content on the travel vlogs, DIYs, family, lifestyle, maybe a few cooking, we'll see, because my husband loves to cook, and yeah, all that good stuff. So welcome back to this channel. So guys, if you watched my last video, I did say that I was going to spill the tea on how I relocated to the UK as a healthcare assistant. So here it is. Guys, if you see me posing a little bit, just bear with me. I'm trying to remember everything. I don't know why I didn't write it down, because it's on my phone, but then I'm using it to film, so I'll use my head. So I started this process in somewhere around end of March, towards April. So end of March I started. She's YouTube video. I'll link it somewhere above or in my description box. So that's where I got all the information about relocating and jobs and all the good stuff. So at the end of March I started doing online courses, the 15 care standards, and by March I had booked for my IELTS. For IELTS, that's a British Council English exams that you need for visa application. So you have to make sure it's UKVI. So what happened with me was I had to book like pronto, because I had found this company and they were hiring and they needed people with everything. So in my country, in Zambia, the UKVI general training was fully booked. So I was forced to go for UKVI academics, which I'm not supposed to take anyway, but I still did. But that worked to my advantage. I'll tell you how later in the video. Stay with me. I will spill all the tea, guys. So I booked for my IELTS. It took me 2 weeks. I booked like 2 weeks before the exams, and I sat for them in April. So I took about 2 weeks to prepare. They're not hard. It's nothing hard. I mean, I did prepare, and then I remember sitting for the exam and I wasn't sure. I'm like, was it hard? Was it too easy? I remember telling my husband, I said, that didn't make so much sense. It was so easy. So it's either it was hard and I thought it was easy, or it was just easy. At that time, I wasn't sure. And so I wrote the computer-based UKVI academic exams, and I think the results came out a week later and I had passed. So I had, during that time, I booked my TB test, because obviously you need a TB clearance. You need to be cleared if you're coming from Zambia or from most African countries. I don't know about others, but in Zambia we're required to do TB test. So I booked for my TB. So when booking, you don't have to pay, it's free, but then just make sure you show up to your appointment, because if you don't, yeah, you will not be able to book until I think 6 months, something like that. So I booked my TB. My husband and I, actually, we booked our TB and we were cleared. At that time we were not sure that my son needed it as well, so I was cleared, and that's how the hunting began. I had an interview. There was one of the recruiters was in Zambia at the time, so I had my first interview. It went well, and they said, no, just wait for your COSs. So in my mind, I'm like, oh wow, this is happening real soon. So I was so excited, not knowing that the journey, like the wait, had just begun. Guys, this process will test your patience. Like, if there's ever been a time in my life that I've ever had to be patient, it was this Kuchalo thing. Like, it really tested my patience. So yeah, so after the interview I was quite positive. Yay. But that was April. May, towards the end of May, I even closed my shop, thinking, yeah, like, guys, I'm going, it's a done deal. We waited for the COSs. So my aunt introduced me to another company that was recruiting. I applied. There was an application fee involved, about 500 kwacha. I did pay. I was added to the group, onto another waiting list. I met another company. I was introduced to another company owner, had an interview, a successful interview, got offered a job. This was around July, if I'm not mistaken. May, June. Maybe towards the end of June, July. I can't really pinpoint it. Yeah. June, I think end of June. I met another company. They interviewed me. They liked me. I was offered the job. And then the wait for the COS. Guys, the wait is long. So in my mind, at this point, I was juggling the companies. I'm like whichever company comes with the COS first is the company I'll go with. So yeah, started waiting, and guys, they really stressed. It was end of June, July, August, or July, end of July. That's when I switched the game, because I knew at this point I just wasn't going to get the job. Like, it felt like it wasn't going to happen anyway, at least for me. So I switched it up a little bit, and I watched so many other YouTube videos, and I switched up the game. So now I started, on the gov.uk, there's companies, like a list of companies with sponsor licenses. So I started emailing them one by one, literally, and there's thousands of them there. So do well to check there, email them, have a proper format, like a proper introduction, introduce yourself. And so before that, because of course I haven't worked in health like all my life. I did the online courses, and I did a course at it's a Zambian institute. It's a medical institute. So I did an assistant course, which took about 3 months, and then the other 3 months were practical. Like, they'll send you to either a hospital or a hospice, and I was sent to a hospice just to gain the experience. Yeah. So you might want to do that. You don't really have to do the course, but then volunteer at hospitals, hospices. I know there's a nursing home somewhere in Woodlands, in Lusaka. There's a nursing home, something Prestige. I've forgotten the name, but yeah, do well to look it up. Somewhere near, if I remember, I'll put it in the description box. So there's a nursing home somewhere in Lusaka near Mosotunya, but that road, I've forgotten what that station is called. But yeah, somewhere there. Volunteer there just for the experience, because guys, these jobs are competitive. If you're going to find a company that won't charge you, even you're like, if you're lucky to find a company that won't charge you, it's competitive. There's thousands of people applying. There's thousands, literally. I remember on Indeed, when I kept sending my applications, and guys, I sent over 300 applications, and I got at least 100 unfortunately. It was unfortunately, my email was just full of unfortunately, and I really lost hope at that point. I'm like, you know what, maybe should I, because at the time my husband said, like, no, okay, the rentals at the shop that I was renting were hiked, and then I was supposed to now start working from home. So my husband was like, no, I'll just make you a little shop at home, and then you'll do your work from here, because I'm a designer. So yeah, at that point, I literally started asking my husband, like, should we just start building this shop? Because it seemed like it was taking forever. So when I started emailing the companies, one like from the gov.uk, I started emailing them, and then make sure you check the type of license they have, because others are for other skills. So I was checking for like skilled worker visas, and I think there's something to do with health. I've forgotten. I can't even remember. It's been a minute, and yeah, it was just so much. But you have to do the research on your own. Like, don't expect people to do it for you. And these people on YouTube, other YouTubers, they would post videos with links to companies hiring, and they're fake. Guys, I would literally, turn on my notification bells for some of the other channels, and they would say this company is hiring, this company is hiring. Lies. I would email, and you find the company stopped hiring ages ago. Maybe they had advertised ages ago. Maybe the advert is even closed, but people would still be making videos about that company. So in this process, of course, you have to watch just to know how to go about it, but most of the stuff you have to do it on your own. So yeah, I started looking for companies with sponsor licenses. So that didn't really work. I did get a few responses. Others were like, no, we're done hiring. Should we want, we'll get back to you. Should we want some more people, we'll get back to you. I said, oh, okay, at least that's better than an unfortunately. Until I started looking for recruiters. So you literally have to just Google. If you're a nurse, there's so many NHS recruiters. So you literally just have to Google NHS recruiters, and you make sure you check that they're recruiting nurses and stuff like that. So I started looking for recruiters, and I found a recruiter. Bingo, that was it. That was like the end to this search journey. So I got invited for my interview on the 26th of July. I had my interview. Was it 29th? I can't remember. So I had my interview. So when this invitation came, I remember I was in Popo Moyo's group and Tochi's group, Telegram. I was in so many recruitment groups, guys. So I remember somebody had posted that they were interviewed, and then afterwards they were asked to pay. So going into that interview, I was so not, like, I was just thinking, what if they're scammers? I remember almost not attending my interview because my husband just encouraged me. He said, you know what? Just attend the interview. I mean, you won't know if you don't attend. So I did attend. And yeah, so shockingly, or was it shockingly? It wasn't really shocking, but to me in my head, I was thinking it was a scam. So I get onto my interview and boom, like there's two, like my boss and the manager at the company where I work. I'm like, oh, okay. And I was not prepared, guys. I was so not prepared. I didn't study for that interview. But thank God, because I had like 2 other interviews prior to that, which kind of failed. Yeah. So I kind of gained the confidence, and, I kind of knew what to expect in terms of what they were going to ask me. So, yeah, the interview was done. That was on a Friday. And I remember very well. So because now one of the other companies said, no, the COSs are out and I need to pay. So I was about to pay literally because I got tired of waiting and waiting. Then my husband was like, you know what, let's wait. Since you just had your other interview, let's wait and see what they'll say. So we waited. So that was because it was weekend. Obviously, they were not going to get back to me over the weekend. Monday passed. My husband said, we'll give them up to Wednesday. If they don't respond to you, we'll send the money like to the other company so they can send the COS, and then we start the process. So for those of you who don't know what a COS, it's a certificate of sponsorship. So when you find a company to sponsor, because you need to be sponsored to come and work here. So when you find a company to hire you, they have to give you a COS, certificate of sponsorship, that you will attach to your visa application. Yeah, so that's what they were charging me for. That's what they wanted to charge me for. So I was this close, guys. My husband said, let's give them to Wednesday, the one that you just had the interview with. If they don't respond, we'll go ahead and pay. So yeah, and it was Monday, nothing. Tuesday, I got a conditional offer letter. And guys, this offer letter was different. Like, I had another offer letter before. It was from an African owned company. It was like this brief. Then my conditional offer letter came from my current employer, and it was like so long. I was so excited. I'm like, oh my God, finally a breakthrough. So the conditions were satisfied. Obviously, police clearance, what else? Well, my references, yeah, I think that was about my proof of residence back home in Zambia, and yeah, I think that was pretty much it. So I had to, now I started running up and down. That was like from 29th, that was like 4 days later when I got my, and these guys were like on my case. They were like, we need, this company is working on a time frame, so they need to issue your COS soon, so please get back to us as soon as you can. And I ran up and down, and I did all the referencing, the police clearance and what, and I handed them over. Guys, I handed them over like today. The next day, the COS was sent to me. I'm like, oh my God. I was so excited because I had been waiting for 3 other COSs before this particular one. And the other companies kept saying, no, we're just waiting. I don't know if they were really waiting. The other 2 wanted money. One of them was going to give it to me for free, but it took ages. The other 2 wanted money, and I almost gave in. Literally, I almost gave in. I was on the verge, but God said, nah, my child, I am giving this to you for free. So when my offer letter came, they were going, in the offer letter they said they were going to pay for my visa, my air ticket, and yeah, of course there were conditions to that, but it's nothing that that I can't do. So yeah, that's how I applied for my visa. And so because they were paying for my visa, I had to sign consent to share my password when I'm doing my visa application, so which I did, and I shared the password like today, 16 hours. The same day, literally an hour later or less, an hour or less later, they paid for the visa. I said, "Job, this company." Like, they kept impressing me because, if you've been through this process, if you have started the process, it's hectic. You really have to have patience, and you need to pray above everything. I can't say that enough. I can't downplay it. Prayer is everything. I remember I was so anxious in the beginning. I never used to sleep, literally just waiting. I would be on Google all night looking for sponsors. But then God, he came my spirit down. He said, this is something that I have promised you, and it's going to happen. And thank God it came, and I literally did not spend a dime. So the conditions, and when the conditions came, guys, you know how much IELTS cost? They cost about 5,800 kwacha. It's not a cheap process. And my company, when my offer letter came, they said that they were going to reimburse me for my IELTS. Guys, do you know the joy that I had? Like, reimburse me? What? It felt so surreal, and it felt so surreal, honestly. And yeah, that's how they paid for my visa, and the waiting started. And guess what? My visa came out literally, I think 10 days, was it 9 days after my application. Guys, like, when you find that company, once you find that company, like, the process of finding is long, but once you find it, boom, you'll be here before you know it. So yeah, that's how my visa came out. I did delay a little bit to tell my employer, because at the time, because after waiting for so long, I thought it was going to take longer. So I wasn't really emotionally prepared, and I wasn't feeling well. That's a story for another day. I was sick. So I only told my employers like a week later, and luckily they gave me about 3 weeks. They booked my air ticket like for 3 weeks later, which was enough time for me to recover and prepare myself mentally, physically, emotionally, and say bye to my loved ones. Yeah, so that is my process. So I will just give you tips, guys. Like, overall, the tips that what you need to know is that this process is not cheap. One, you have to have money. You have to spend on your IELTS. It's a sacrifice. It's an investment. You have to spend on your IELTS about, let's just round it off to 6,000 kwacha, which is about 300 pounds, or is it 200 and something pounds? You have to pay for your TB, which is about 2,500. I can't really convert that to pounds. I don't have my phone, but yeah, 2,500 kwacha, or sometimes it goes up to 2,700 depending on the rate of the dollar. And the police clearance, it's relatively cheap. It's about 200 kwacha. What else do you have to spend on? The certificate. So I did my case standards on udemy.com. I spent £10 on that course. But then I know there's Florence Academy, there's different that don't even charge, but I just decided to do that one. I don't know why. I think it was before I knew that there were even free ones. So you have to have money, just have some savings, because even when you come here, you will need money. Trust me, you will need money to just, do day-to-day things, buy what you need, and yada yada yada. So you need to save. So you need to have patience. Have a lot of patience, because it doesn't happen overnight. For some people, I don't know, maybe it was just me. I don't know. But for me, it taught me patience. 3, I would say pray. I think that should have been number 1. Yeah, pray, and pray some more. Whatever you believe in, believe it. Believe in it. I believe in God. I don't know about you, but whatever you believe in, you need to believe, and it will happen. Pray and always ask for God's will to be done, because you could be pursuing this and it's not God's will for your life, so you would just be wasting your time and resources. You pray a lot, have patience, and just believe. Honestly, you just have to be alert. Be ready to Google. Use Google, because when you get here, Google has to be your best friend, literally. So, yeah, do your research. Search some more. The gov.uk has so much information, guys. It has literally everything on there. So don't let anybody deceive you. The free, like, I didn't spend a dime coming here. Obviously, when I had to buy the food stuff and stuff, that's the only stuff that I had to spend on. But my company paid for everything for me, and I'm so happy, because it's a very good working environment. Like, I love the people I'm working with, and yeah, so that's pretty much it. So you need to have your IELTS, your TB, your police clearance. Try to gain some experience. Volunteer at hospitals, clinics, hospice, nursing homes. Volunteer and add that to your CV, so that your CV is, you boost it a little bit. I will try to share my CV, not in this video. I will share my CV, how I just, there's a UK standard CV where you don't have to put that I went to Chipendi Girls or stuff like that. So yeah, that is pretty much it. If I have missed out anything, and if this is anything else you would like to know about this process, hit me up, comment in the comment section, and I will respond. And guys, thank you so much for people that have been supporting me, and I'm so excited to embark on this journey and share it with you guys. So don't forget to subscribe, like, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. And yeah, like the videos, comment, guys, let's interact. And yeah, I am here. I don't know how long, obviously work gets busy as I progress. So while I have time, I will respond to all of your queries concerning the process, because obviously if you're watching this, you want to go kuchalo. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye.